These are the people who are very important for you. Okay, so exclusively when you deal with web application, as long as you are developing web applications, either you are using pure servlets, or you are using Spring, or you are using Spring Boot, microservices, whatever, these elements are still part of your journey only. Okay, so web components we regularly deal with in developing web apps. What are they? Or I could say it's not web component. Basically, these are server side components we regularly deal with in order to develop the web apps. Okay, so what are they? Now, the first person to deal with is called as request, who is represented by the way, look at the name request. This request is the name we use as a part of the JSP. Am I clear? We call it simply request in JSP, whereas that represents the component of HTTP servlet request. Okay, so I'm just reiterating the regular methods what we are going to use. This is because I want you to remember this, and then I don't want you to forget this anyway. This request component, these are called as implicit objects in JSP. So these are also called as JSP implicit objects, which represents a servlet API component in the background. Okay, well, what are they? First one is request. This represents HTTP servlet request object. Second is response. We simply call it as a response, and this represents HTTP servlet response. And the third one we deal with is session. This deals with HTTP session in the background. Fourth one is out. Basically, this is nothing but our print writer object. And then the fifth one, we call this as page context. Yeah, context simply. Basically, you either call it as page context or context. This represents servlet context. Okay, so these are all the kind of elements which we regularly use with request, response, session, out, page context, or all the elements. Now, the HTTP servlet request, it deals with the methods like this: public string get parameter, which will take string param name. I'm writing the methods which are there in, because this extends servlet request. I'm writing the methods of servlet request also here. Try to understand. And the other method we regularly use is public string array get parameter values, which will take string param name. And if you don't know how many params are coming, you can call enumerator get parameter names. Once you get the parameter names, you will be using while this enumeration, whatever you are returning in enumerator dot has more elements. You actually can get string param name is equals to enumerator dot get next element. And once you get the element name, well, you basically can deal with. Now you have got the parameter name, so you can call this method to get the parameter value. Okay, so that's how it deals with. And then you have, give me a second. Hey Bhavani, good morning. Bhavani, నేను సెషన్లో ఉన్నా, నేను ఒక 12:30కి కాల్ చేయనా మీకు ప్లీజ్. సెషన్ మిడిల్లో ఉన్నా నేను, అందుకని 12:30 కల్లా కాల్ బ్యాక్ చేస్తాను. యా, yeah. All right, and then you have public string get request method. and you have got public string get um, request remote host, whoever is doing the request, all such kind of methods. And you also have something called as public http session get session. And one more thing is public http session get session of boolean can create new. This is the one. So these are all the methods which we regularly use as a part of the request object. Similarly, when it comes to response object, who is http servlet response in the background, you actually will set public void set content type. You can supply string, mime type, and public void set content length. You can supply, long bytes. That's the size you wanted to set. And then public print writer get writer, and public void send redirect to another, string, other app url, wherever you want it to take. And then here I have public request dispatcher get request dispatcher on string target URI. Well, this URI can be HTML or JSP or another servlet. Okay, so remember this point. Never forget that what is the target URI you are redirecting to, request dispatching to. It can be another HTML page or JSP or servlet. Now, using this request dispatcher, you basically call either forward of request comma response, or include of request comma response. These are the two methods you will call using this request dispatcher. And enumeration आने के बाद this is what you will do. Well, something like this. I'm trying to give you basic things. And then there are, you can also set status code public void set status of, the HTTP servlet response dot status. You have 200, all that such kind of. You can also set a status message. All of these are basically methods of request and response. And then using the session, you have public void. And by the way, here, my mistake, request is the most useful object. You have public void set attribute, where you can set string attr name, which is a parameter, extra parameter that you wanted to set. And object attr value, and you wanted to get that set attribute, you can call public object get attribute, where you can supply string attr name. Now please understand, parameter is what you will get from another source to your request. Now after you have received the request, if you wanted to set extra pair values or extra parameters, you can set it as set attribute, and this one is also passing as a tail along with the request. On the other hand, whoever receives your request can call that get attribute. Okay, so these are all the methods in the request, and these are all the methods in the response. And in the HTTP session, you have public void, public boolean is new, checking whether the current session is a new session or not. Public void set inact max in active interval as in active time. How much time this session can be active, how much time this session has to be timed out. So those can be set over here using set max in active interval. And then you have public, these two methods are there as the said, um, set attribute and get attribute will along with the session. Well, I have this methods, two methods. And once your session work is over, you don't want to use the session, you can say public void invalidate, so that actually will remove the session from the memory. These are the kind of methods which are there in HTTP session. Print writer has print as well as print ln methods, where you actually will have a string output whatever to be shown, and here also string output. The only difference is this print will print it, and the cursor will still be on the same line. Print ln basically will take you to the next line. Okay, and context basically helps you to find all the servlets that are running, and then what is the size memory available in the this server and all. Basically you don't deal with servlet context much, so please uh, do not break your heads. But two methods which we will be dealing with context is these two. For example, let's say in your application you have um, city, state, country kind of drop downs which are fixed always for the entire application. These are fixed. Do you think that states or cities or countries will be regularly changing? No, they will change for years. Basically it takes a lot of time when a state liberated and then they create new cities or new districts and all. So the list will be changing once in a while, very rarely. Let's say somewhere around 10 years once, kind of thing, right or wrong. So your application when it loads, basically it cannot go to the database and then get list of countries. It cannot go to the database and get list of city. It cannot go to the database and get list of states every time a page loads. That is waste of time, because these are fixed asset most of the times. For the similarly pin codes of the country, they won't change, right? Regularly they don't change. Yeah, they may get added with new pin codes very rarely. So these kind of things which are supposed to be loaded while the time of loading the server itself, they will be set in the context. So what happens is when the context is loading, that is for the first time when the servlet memory is getting loaded, these values are set and they will be loading. And once they load into the memory, they are loaded into the context memory, which is unique for the entire Tomcat server for that application. So as long as the application persists, these values persist. Now these two things that you are setting over here, as long as the session is valid, these are existing. And then once the session has become inactive or invalidate, this session attribute is lost from the memory. Similarly, this one is linked to the request. So as long as the request is propagating from one point to another point to third point to fourth point, these attributes will live. Once the response is redirected using this response dot get redirect, this request will be lost. So here um, this kills the current request. Am I clear? And creates new. Remember this point. So what do you mean by this, Ram? That means whenever you try to redirect a request, basically the current request object is being killed and then a new request is being formed to the other application. So whatever is there in the request are dying. They'll just die. Whatever the values, it will be lost. So if you wanted to pass values, even if you redirect it to somewhere else, then you are suggested to go with the session. Session is the one which can be carried along with SYN redirect. So here, this will kill the current request and creates new. However, maintains the session. What do you mean by that? So it is better you keep such values into session. When you redirect from one pointer to another point, your values are still maintained. Am I clear? Okay. So this is all about the three major important elements which we have, in servlets and JSPs kind of thing. This is clear. Any doubts so far? ये वाला ये पे मैं आपको दे देता हूँ, ठीक है? Control S, I call this implicit JSP. JSP implicit objects desktop web save. ठीक है, ये वाला मैं आपको दे देता हूँ अभी. तो you are clear on this point, right? These are nothing but implicit objects. They just represent a servlet API only, basically. So in JSP, because we are embedding Java code into HTML to make the life simple, they have noted them as implicit objects of JSP. So you can use with them directly. You need not create instance of it. Simply you can say request dot. That means you have created a HTTP servlet request object. Response dot, you have created a HTTP servlet response. Session dot, that actually creates HTTP session. Session is equals to request.get session of new and then creates a session. So all of that are happening in the background for your convenience when you deal with JSP. Not only that, this request object can be used happily in your Spring also. As long as you are dealing with a Java web application, these four objects, they play a very big and vital role. Am I clear? Done? I mean, any doubts so far? Clear? Understood about this? Request, response, session, and out and context. These five are very, very important. Clear? Shall we move on to the next point? Buying
Yes,
of
sir.
अच्छा ठीक है. Someone said yes, sir, at least. Okay. And yeah, okay. Now we will go to our application. Right. So this was our application, right? Web test. अब इसको छोड़ देंगे भैया. Now you people have to help me so that I can create a new application. समझो I am your student. Okay. And you people have to help me to create a new web application. Shall we create? Okay. What is our new web application? File, new, dynamic web app. नाम क्या देना है उसको? Amazon. And these are configured already, Apache Tomcat 3.1, right? So I will say next. And build classes is our path where all the classes will be, I mean, compiled classes will be saved. Our code will be here in src main Java. You click on next. Generate web.xml, which is deployment descriptor. Amazon is your context path. That means to in order to access this application, I need to say HTTP localhost colon 8080 slash Amazon. Then it will go and then read this web.xml, identifies who is the welcome page, and will try to run the welcome page. Okay, I'll finish. Well, it takes a while and creates me the Amazon app. Well, this is where I'll have all my packages, and this is where I have my web content. Web app is the place where I'll have my web content. Okay. Well, I'll remove this Jupyter HRMS and I'll remove this mail system. I'll keep my life pretty simple. I'll say delete project and contents on the disk. Well, okay. So this is all I have. Now in the web enough, you will have lib and web.xml. So the step number one, create a dynamic web project. It is done. Second, set the default page. What is the default page we wanted to set? Index.jsp. Well, ये बाकी का जो भी है, I'll try to remove them. बढ़िया, Control S. Do we have the index.jsp with us? No, we do not have. Then not on the web NF, right click on the web app and then create a new JSP file. Do not write anything in it. बाद में लिखेंगे. For now, it is simply index. Name of this page will be index.jsp. Next, and it takes version 5 out of it. Insert a title. I'll call the title as Amazon. And in the body, I'll simply say H1. Welcome to Amazon shopping cart. ART or CRT?
CRT, sir.
पता नहीं यार, तेलुगु मीडियम पर्सन हूँ, मुझे इंग्लिश थोड़ी आता है, तो मैंने आप लिख दिया. ठीक है. Well, this is my first JSP page. I close it. Now my structure is ready. Honestly speaking, purely it is not ready. So what else is required? So step number one, मैंने index welcome file लिख दिया and then I have added the welcome file. Then the third one, lib में I am supposed to add, third point, I am supposed to add what are all the required libraries. So what are all the required libraries I required? I need servlet hyphen API, I need JSP hyphen API, I need JDBC file, correct? Correct or not? Well, I'll go ahead and then add them. So I'll go to D drive, I'll go to softwares, I'll take my MySQL connector.java, Control C, Control V. Then I have one jar file. Then दूसरा दो jar file और चाहिए मुझे. Where are they?
Servlet
I'll
and
go to
JSP.
JSP. वो किधर मिलेगा मुझे? In my Tomcat directory
Tomcat.
lib. Okay, in my Apache Tomcat directory lib, I have JSP hyphen API, I have servlet hyphen API, and I have EL hyphen API, expression language. Control C, well, Control V. EL का कोई value नहीं है. So if you want, you can have it, or if you don't want, you can skip that. Like if you wanted to know about expression language in JSP, there are tutorials. Learn it. It is so easy to write code using expression language, and at the same time, it is so confusing also. Until and unless you learn it properly, it is confusing. If you learn it properly, it is easy. Well, my scope of this session do not allow me to teach you expression language. In fact, Kant, who is my director, he don't want me to explain about JSP and servlets at all. But why I am insisting and then teaching you servlets for 3 4 days, that is because this is the base. Like without learning ABCDs and then writing chota mota words, you cannot write poems, right or not? Right? So this is the base for any web application. If you don't understand what is a servlet, what is a dispatcher, well, it is not suggestible to go ahead and then learn Spring without learning this one. Okay. So I purely
Yes, sir.
believe in teaching from the base level, because I don't expect you to work your entire lifetime in Jakarta. Well, you may be moved to some other company. Let's say you can go to Wells Fargo. Wells Fargo still have an application happily running on Sublet. Yes, it is. It is having applications. Wells Fargo Bank. I have interviewed technical leads who are coming from Wells Fargo. They said they are using very legacy style of application. They are still using servlets and JSP. So I wanted to learn new things. So I am moving to this. Yes, of course. They said so. So I asked them, explain your architecture. They explained me. That is the benefit of taking interviews. You will come to know different architectures. If I go to Wells Fargo, somebody asks me, do you know what architecture? I'll explain it. Why? Because I have interviewed candidates, right? So what I'm trying to say is there are big banks. Wells Fargo is an international bank. They are still using servlets application. So I cannot expect where you are going to work in future, what kind of application you are going to migrate. Let's say some client may come to us to Jakarta, say ki, Dekho, your product is there, we agree, but we do have a product, please migrate. What do you mean by migration? Use their code and then develop it in new way. Well, how do you understand if you don't know about servlets, right? So I'm teaching you everything. That's the only reason. So today, tomorrow, we'll still deal with web apps using servlets and JSP, and then from Monday onwards, we step into the Spring world, and then that's beautiful. Okay. Well, third step हो गया. Step number one, update XML. Step number two, adding a JSP. Step number three, adding the libraries. These libraries will reflect in the new folder, which is generated automatically, which is web app libraries. Okay. And you make sure that you have your Java system library as Java 1.8 only. This one you cannot forget. Don't go for Java 11 or Java 13 and then end up with errors. Don't do that. Okay. Well, now my project is ready. The entire thing is ready, which is necessary for the project level. The answer is partially yes. Why partially yes? There is one more guy who is created at the project level, which will be used by all other people, which is connection factory. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So we go to src main Java, go to new package. So com dot Jakarta dot Amazon app dot, let's say, util, and in the util I will try to create a new Java class, and whose name I will call connection factory. Well, this connection factory will be having a method to produce me the SQL connection. So at the static level, I will say, okay, so here I will say start for the name dot mysql dot jdbc dot cj dot jdbc dot driver. Well, this fellow is my driver. If you are using older version of MySQL less than to 8, it will be com dot mysql dot jdbc dot driver simply no cj for version versions of MySQL less than 8.x. Okay, na 8.0. I'll write away. So please remember this one. Okay, so you have to use that as a class dot for name of this one. Something like that. Okay, am I clear? Am I clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so this is for versions of MySQL greater than or is equals to 8.0. Remember this. All right. So now that my driver is created, it is time for me to create my connection. Public static connection get connection. One more point I want you to understand. Writing static blocks or static methods is not suggestible until and unless you feel like this is uniquely loaded for the entire application only once, and the same will be called by remaining all classes repeatedly. Okay, so one more thing, the connection is not imported. You can actually import a connection SQL. So the shortcut to import all unimported values into your class is Control Shift O. See, the moment when I say Control Shift O, this is automatically filled. Okay, now so you have to remember this. Control Shift O actually autofills. Now you have connection get connection, so you create connection con is equals to null, and then you need to fill this guy and then return. So I have a catch exception from here. Control C, I'll do that, and above I will say con is equals to driver manager dot get connection of the URL, username, password. And at the end of this method, I am supposed to return that connection. So I'll say return con. That is what I am supposed to do. This makes sense, right? Okay. So what is the URL I'm supposed to give? MySQL. So I'm sorry. The protocol is JDBC conversion to MySQL colon slash slash. The server is running in localhost colon on the port 3306 and slash my database name is Amazon. I haven't created. I'll create it. Okay. Well, root is my username and root is my password. Well, this is what the piece of code I have here, right? Control
Yes,
S.
sir.
This guy is now today you are writing connection factory. Tomorrow in the next week you will write session factory. Something called a session factory provider. So the session factory provider supplies the session factory, and then using the session factory, you will create sessions. Session in the Hibernate is slightly different than the session we have in the HTTP session. So a session is a combination of open connection along with the statement. So if you say session.save of an entity, it creates a connection, it creates a statement, and it generates an insert statement in the background. What do you mean by that, Ram? Matlab, we are not going to write any queries. No, you will simply say session.save. It will write insert query and then save that object. You will say session.update. It will write update query and then save that. If you say session.delete, it will write delete query and then delete that object from the database table. Similarly, if you say get and then give a primary key, it returns you an object by writing the select statement, select star from so and so table where primary key ID is equals to so and so. Isn't it best? That means you will get rid of writing your queries. That's the beautiful thing about Hibernate. But before we go to Hibernate, you should understand what exactly Hibernate will do in the background. So I am teaching you the structure exactly the way Hibernate works. Am I clear? So
Yes.
when you see Hibernate, you will be dealing with objects. That's why I am writing JDBC code dealing with objects. Now, initially when you are learning here, you will feel it tough. अरे यार राम क्या बता रहा है, हम लोगों ने इंस्टीट्यूट में सी साफ सीधा हम लोग लिख रहे थे कनेक्शन कॉन इक्वल्स टू स्टेटमेंट एग्जीक्यूट सेलेक्ट स्टार फ्रॉम सो एंड सो, तो वो जाके काम करता था. अभी ये तो साला ही इज इंट्रोड्यूसिंग ऑब्जेक्ट, ही इज इंट्रोड्यूसिंग दिस दैट एन एब्स्ट्रैक्ट डीएओ, because I want you to learn the actual standards of coding, not the way you have learned. Communication का कैसे भी हो सकता है. अबे बोले तो भी communication है. It is pointing to other person. सरजी बोले तो भी communication है. Whichever is standard, you have to opt for it. हर एक को अबे इधर लुक ए देख ऐसा नहीं बोल सकते, right? Correct na? So there are ways of standard of communication. So if you wanted to deal with JDBC, the way the raw style that you have opted previously while learning JDBC is not the correct one. The way we are doing is the standard way. Okay. तो सुनो आराम से. Now is my project ready? The answer is yes. So the bare minimum things that are required for a project is structure, libraries, web.xml, welcome page, and connection factory. I don't know whether I can run my application. I'll just run and then make sure that this is configured in the server and running properly. I'll say run on the server. So I will choose what is that you wanted to run. I wanted to run my local host Tomcat 8.0, which is stopped actually. I wanted this to run. Always use this server. I'll say next. And now you can see there is previously web test already configured. And then along with the web test, I am now configuring Amazon also. Now I can remove this web test so that I can save the memory of the server. And I have configured only Amazon and I'll say finish. So it says, key, are you sure you wanted to remove the resource from the server? Right? So, and I will say, okay. Now it is basically running the Amazon, configuring this one, and it has said welcome to the Amazon shopping app. So, well, my application is running pretty fine. Okay, so far what is that we have done is we have configured our server, we have created our first web application, and then whatever is necessary, we have put them in place, and then I have run my application. From now onwards, based on the requirement, you need to develop whatever is correct. So let's go for the requirement. Let us speak about the requirement and then slowly develop things. And before I go ahead and then speak about the requirement, which is going to happen in the last half an hour, I wanted to introduce how we develop JSP pages. What are all the components are there inside the JSP page? Okay, that you need to learn for half an hour. And the next half an hour we will speak about Amazon app requirement. We will create necessary database, will create necessary entities, will create necessary classes, and then we will continue our application tomorrow. Okay, so let's come back here. So when you come to JSP, please understand JSP is in short, which is known as Java Server Page. It's nothing but a page or a HTML page that contains server side Java code. I repeat, server side Java code. So basically, in the background, this acts as a servlet. Remember this. So a HTML page which contains Java code, this basically acts as a servlet in the background. Simply speaking, JSP is also a servlet when you run it. So remember this point always. So a JSP which can be servlet at runtime will have these below components in it. The one is called as headers and the other is called as scriptlets and the other is called as taglib. So let's not speak about taglib because that's beyond our scope. So it will be having header, it will be having scriptlet, it will be having tablet. Now what is a header section? Header section and scriptlet sections and taglib section. Tag library section or sections you can call it. So these are the three sections we can have. In the headers, what are all the headers I can have is a header always starts with this symbol. Okay, so I can have a page header and I can have import header and I can have include header. Page import include, these are the three headers. So include is as good as request dispatcher object dot include of request comma response. So how, I mean, this is as good as including that one. So example, how do you call this is, scriptlet at the rate, you will simply say include file is equals to index.jsp, and that's all. By saying this, you can see this, by simply saying this, at this level wherever you specified, you are including the output of index.jsp. Isn't it beautiful? Right, you simply have to say at the rate include file is equals to so and so, that file that you mentioned will be included here, whose output is included here. Well, please understand, in the file place you can specify a JSP file or a HTML file or a servlet name. Okay, but most of the times don't do servlet name. Basically it is suggested for the servlets to use request dispatcher include. So this is basically a request dispatcher only in the background. Now at the rate page, by the way, at the rate import package is equals to, you will be having the package name like java dot util dot date kind of thing. So basically what exactly you are trying to do here is you are including a package. Am I clear? So this is not slash, by the way, this is scriptlet. Okay, so these imports can be any number. So you can have this in multiple places, and this one, yes, you can have this multiple places. Okay, well, you can have this in, or you can have this multiple times, I would say multiple times in JSP, and here also multiple times. Okay, well, how about this page? Please understand, a page can be only once in the JSP. It can be only on the top. So at the page, have the below. It can have import is equals to. You can specify the package name, and uh, content hyphen type is equals to. You can specify text by HTML, the MIME type that you wanted to specify. Okay, and error page is equals to specify error page.jsp where it has to go, and then is error page is equals to true or false to specify whether the current page is an error page. Please understand, let's say you are working on something and there is an error in the page, and then instead of showing a big error message to the customers which will make them panic saying that our application is not working, we create error pages and show them. Error pages, they contain generic messages like oops, something went wrong, oh, something went wrong, something like this it will be. Let us, I just wanted to show you something, how a page looks like. Let's say I have my Axis Bank. Okay, so I'm logging in, and here this is my dashboard. What you see here is about to be a dashboard, and there I have my, apply now. I'll go to, these are all the things I have, apply now. Let's say when I check on this credit cards, it basically show me my credit card, and then it says कि already भैया तेरे पास already credit card है, and you cannot have anything over here, something like this it will show. और अगर मैं फिर से जाके if I say apply now, and if I click on pre-approved offers, it says कि it's not there. We are working on great offers for you. Keep watching this page. So this is called as generic page. Okay, you can see this here, offer.html hash. क्या है उसमें बताओ? What do you see? What is there hash के बाद? Error.
Error.
So this is an error page. So error page contains such a kind of information. Customer don't understand that's an error. So it is trying to get offers from the database for me. It received a null object, which resulted in null pointer exception in the background. It cannot show null pointer exception. I'm a Java developer. I know what is null pointer exception. My mother, my father, my wife, my daughter, they don't know what is null pointer exception. They'll simply say, ki, "Array, this app is giving error. Don't use it." Well, you understand the importance of error pages, right? Okay. So the same thing if you see, ये तो लोड ही होता जा रहा है यार, कमान, चलो ठीक है, उसको छोड़ देते, come back. You got that right, the point I'm speaking about error page. So you can create an error
Yes, sir.
page. So for all pages you can keep this as an error page. So something goes wrong in the page, you will be redirected to this page. इसमें क्या कुछ generic message रहेगा. Okay, now that is also a page. Again, whatever you are creating is also a normal JSP page. So to be identified as an error page, we have to give him is error page true. By default this is false, the default value is false. But if you are specifically creating an error page, you can mention is error page true and then give a message. If something goes wrong in any page, it actually takes you to this page. So something like this you have, and then language is equals to Java. Okay, language is equals to Java. So all of these, there are so many other. So these are all uh, these are all the क्या बोलते हैं इसे attributes. These are all the attributes of @page tag. So @page tag defines your entire page level of structure. It is defined only on the top for the first step, and उसके नीचे you will be finding import is equals to package equals to import equals to import equals to all that kind of stuff. And then whenever within a JSP page, if you wanted to include any other page output, you have to say @include file is equals to so and so. Am I clear? So this is basically to uh, the output of file or mentioned file is shown at this tag place of your JSP page. In your JSP page, wherever you have this tag, that will bring. And you can use HTML as well as JSPs for this. So the suggested is you can give a HTML or a JSP file, okay, for include, right? Now, what is scriptlet? Basically, scriptlets allow you to write Java code. So scriptlet section, basically, this is the sections that allows you to write Java code inside the JSP page. Okay, so these are three different kind of scriptlets. The first kind of scriptlet is called as declarative scriptlet. What is this called as? I'll remove this by the way. What is this called as? Declarative scriptlet. Well, to declare any variable which is global to JSP page. What do you mean by this? Let's say a class level variable. As I told you, this JSP will be converted into servlet when it is compiled. So JSP lifecycle is, first of all, it is rendered. Rendering means like server will write Java code for the JSP file. That's called rendering. And then rendered servlet will be compiled. And then the servlet will be initialized, and then it will call the service method, and it will be loaded into the memory. So JSPs are servlets in the background. If you wanted to declare anything at the servlet head level, Java class level, those will be coming into this declarative scriptlet. So anything you declare inside them, either it is a method or it is a variable, that is visible to above the service method. Now this one, code scriptlet, this is called as code scriptlet. Well, basically, this code will be added as a part of service method of new servlet generated. Remember, whatever you write here, it will be executed as a part of the service method. That means the code written here is executed as a part of service method. Am I clear? Clear, right? So whatever you are writing is nothing but it is a part of service method you need to understand. And the last but not least, this is called as this is called as assignment scriptlet. Well, this is basically equals to out.println. So here, whatever we give here will be shown on output of the page. So if you say scriptlet is equals to hello, hello will be printed. Am I clear? Okay. So shown are printed. Okay. Well, I am not speaking about tag lib sections. Well, this is out of my scope. Okay, hope you are understanding, right? So if you wanted to write a JSP page, what are all the sections that you require? You mandatorily require import, page. Import is optional. Well, this is mandatory. Please understand. This section is mandatory and at the rate page. Okay, at the rate page with content type is mandatory. That's all. Content type is pretty much mandatory. Mandatory with content hyphen type attribute, and it comes only once in page, in JSP page, that is at top of the page. Okay, so please remember this point. And then what is the other one? At the rate import page. You basically you can have this at multiple times in the JSP page, but mostly based on the top after page header. Most of the times this is placed after the page header. Okay, and you can have multiple imports. As I told you, you can have multiple imports in the JSP, but mostly will be on the top. Well, this is basically to import all the classes. So all the classes or library we are using in JSP is imported using these import statements. Okay, and then third one is hash include. Basically this is basically whenever you wanted to show output of some other page, you could actually show it here. Okay, and then you have declarative scriptlet, you have code scriptlet, and you have assignment scriptlet. Okay, people call it as out scriptlet also. And taglib, yeah, I'm seriously unable to explain you anything as of now because things are running out of time. Well, this is out of my scope. So look at this. I will save taglib. I'll say out of scope. Okay. So control S. I'll say JSP high underscore API. So I'll be sharing this JSP API also, JSP implicit objects and JSP to you people. So far this is clear. Shall we create a small one or two JSP examples and see how this is going to work? Okay, how we call other JSP pages, how do they handle request, how do they respond? This is what I want you to know, understand. Okay, give me a second. I'll just have some water and come back, and then we will continue our session for an hour again, where we will cover JSP, followed by we will also add off certain elements that are required for our Amazon project. चलो भैया हम वापस आ गए. तो मैं गया अपना प्रोजेक्ट पे. I have an index.html, right? So we will alter this index.html. We'll keep this index.html. We will not touch that. Excluding that, we will create two JSP pages, okay, and we will play with. So I come to web app, index.html, welcome to my Janab. I'll make this h1 align is equals to center. And then here I will say a h difference is equals to calculator.jsp. Calculator, okay. So I do not have it. I'll create that. Right click, new JSP file, calculator.jsp. Now there you go. What is this calculator.jsp? Or this basically helps us to do some calculation. छोटा सा है, तो आप समझो table align is equals to center. You have ph. I'm preparing a small HTML page only. There is no special in it. Okay. Okay. So छोटा है देखो भैया. I wanted to add two numbers. I have first number and I have my second number, and I have a button called add. When you click on add, I'm expecting that it will show addition of so and so numbers is equals to so and so. Okay, so that will be written by someone called as calculate.jsp. Okay, this is calculator and it is calling calculate.jsp. Okay, well, here it is. Right click, new JSP file, and this file name I will call it as calculate.jsp. Finish. Now for you people to understand, if you have uh, identified you have scriptlet at the rate page language is equals to Java, content type is equals to blah blah blah, page encoding equals to something. This is only at the first step. And if you haven't imported anything, that's okay. But if you have imported something, that will come in the import section. So I'll come to calculator.jsp here. Well, here I'll say result. Okay. And then so I have come to the body. Now in the body, the first part is I need to read whatever has come to me. Agreed. So after reading whatever has come to me, I have to show the output, and I should also give him another chance to add something. So I'll say scriptlet at the rate include file is equals to, okay, calculator.jsp. So what exactly I'm trying to do here is I am trying to include the output of calculator.jsp. So this shows calculator.jsp here. That is what it will do. Well, this is not the comment, by the way, I'm sorry. This is the comment. So wherever you have written this tag, right? So that shows the output of calculator.jsp. After showing the calculator.jsp, first of all, irrespective whatever input they are giving, I need to show them a chance again. So I have included the file of calculator.jsp. Now I will write my functionality. Okay, so I'll say uh, okay, what am I supposed to do here is I am declaring. See, I just wanted to declare how a declaration works basically. Okay, this is declarative scripted. Yes or no? Well, this is declarative scripted. So used for global level variables are method declaration. So global means don't think that this is for the application. Global for the page. Am I clear? Okay, so page level, or you could say page level. That's a better way you can call it as page level variable or method declaration. So here I am declaring a method called public return type is integer called add, which will take int a comma int b, and here it will say return a plus b. That is what the method is all about. Okay. Yes, sir. That's a method I have declared. And to help this method, okay. It won't take anything. It will you will simply call return, and then it will return a and b, or I could say ki fno and SNO is what it will do. So here I'm declaring int fno comma int SNO. I have declared them. So I have declared two variables. Okay, one is FNO, another is SNO, and I also have declared a method which will return addition of FNO and SNO. This is declarative scriptlet, and then I have a code scriptlet. So what is this? Is basically this is code scriptlet, and this code is a part of service method. Please remember this point here. A point to be noted is, you know, now if you want to use implicit objects like request, response, session, out, okay, they can be used only in scriptlet, code scriptlet, or in the assignment scriptlet. So remember this point. Okay. Remember, so you cannot use this in the above section. So here, page level declaration, because of this, so you cannot use implicit objects like request, response session out extra. Remember this one. You cannot use them. You can use them only here or in the below section. Am I clear? So this is my below section, which is scriptlet is equals to. Well, here I wanted to show the result. So this is my what do you call this? This is code scriptlet. This is assignment scriptlet. So here in the code scriptlet, my intention is to read whatever is coming. So this calculator.jsp is passing me FNO and SNO as parameters when somebody clicks on the submit. So in the calculate.jsp, I will read them. FNO is equals to integer dot parseInt of request object dot get parameter coming with the name of FNO. Then I'll say SNO is equals to the same thing. So who is passing these values? The other JSP calculator.jsp. Okay. Well, I have received both FNO and SNO. Now these are the global variables, so they are visible to everyone, right? To every section. So from this section, and I'm trying to call Mr. Add method. So the moment when I call add, the add returns an integer value, which is FNO plus SNO. I will print it over here. But before printing, I'll mention here H3 and addition of, look at this, scriptlet is equals to FNO, comma, scriptlet is equals to SNO. I'm assigning is add, and say slash H3. And I could actually say H3 align is equals to center. Now the way you see this one, and I'm trying to, okay, I'm trying to embed. Okay, please try to understand. I'm trying to embed HTML code and Java code with each other. So I'm saying scriptlet is equals to FNO, comma scriptlet equals to SNO is so and so addition of. So it will say if you are given 5 comma 5, it will say addition of 5 comma 5 is 10. Something like this it will print. Okay. Well, that's what my expectation. I try to show you all the possible ways of using declaration scriptlet, code scriptlet, assignment scriptlet, and including output of another file. So here it will show that, and it will also say try again. Okay. And in fact, I can show it in the below line. I'll say H2. I'll say align is equals to center. Say thanks for using calculator app. Please try again. Well, this is what it is. Understood, right? So basically what I'm trying to do, I'm trying to show you a sample example of using all the sections, add the page attribute, include attribute, and everything. Well, if you are trying to say, if you wanted to say last time you have used this, last time you have used this application and so, okay, you can actually use that also. Um, import also will be used. Let's say, for example, last usage. If I'm saying say h2 line is equals to center last used, I will say scripted is equals to, so java dot util. I will simply say uh, new dot posting. So what is this date? If you say import java.util.date, you could actually see the include part. Okay, at that page import is equals to. Well, intention is to show you all the possible uses of the tags in JSP. That's all. Nothing more than that. इसमें मेरा trial run वही था और कुछ नहीं. To let you people understand which tag will be used at what section, how it looks like. I want you to identify. So I used a small example which can show you each and everything here. Control S. So last used so and so time, and then when you try again, it will say last used is some other thing. Okay. Well, let's run the show and then see what happens. Like I'll say Ramajana, right click, run on the server. Well, this one take me to the calculator. I clicked and you can see this is calculator.jsp. It says key 404 not found. What happened? Why it is not coming? Because C is capital and here index I have mentioned a small c, whereas the JSP page contains a calculator calculate as a capital C. So it is never suggested to go for capitals for JSP pages. I also suggest go for a small one only. So here I'll say right click, rename, and I'll call this as a small calculate.jsp, and this fella also I will say rename and then make sure that he is also having a small. Okay, fine enough. Now I'll try to say, I'll say refresh. Okay, this guy hasn't loaded. Well, I come back here and we'll say Amazon calculate.jsp. Here also you are supposed to say small c. Plus, well, this is also built. Right click, run as, run on the server. I'll say calculator. It still shows key calculator is not there. CLCULATOR. CALCULATOR dot JSP. Why it is not there? So refresh.
రామ్
Ah,
టీఓఆర్ ఇక్కడ ఇక్కడ స్పెల్లింగ్ ఇందాక దాంట్లో
this one CALCULATOR.
ఇందాక దాంట్లో
CALCULATOR. Then this one CALCULATE calculate. I like that should come when I click on that one, right? అది క్లిక్ చేసినప్పుడు కదా ప్రాబ్లం, అసలు ఇది లోడ్ అవ్వాలి కదా.
అవును
ఇది ప్రాబ్లం కాదు, దిస్ సంథింగ్ ఎల్స్ ఐఎమ్ థింకింగ్. I give slash. Let's see if it takes slash. Oh, I got it. So it's not slash calculated. It is uh, Amazon slash calculator control S. This is where it is supposed to go and point to. I think that is a problem. So here also slash Amazon slash. You can see 8080 calculated ASP. Context has gone. That is a problem. So I'll say refresh. Now I'll click on Amazon. Now it will come. Okay. Well, I'll number, let us say 5. I'm trying to call hit button 5. It is expected to go to, well, what happened? See, it has included the output of this and then said key addition of 10 comma 5 is 15. Thanks for using, try again. And last used is third match. Date is also coming. So this is so basically JSP's works. So problem was I was not including the context name as a part of the path, right? So that was the problem. So after I have included the context path, it has started working. Nothing more than that. That's the problem with the path. Well, you understand, right? What is a JSP page? How to use with that? Any doubts so far? It is nothing but a Java file only, embedded in a HTML. So this one, I want you to observe more. Look at this. Ram, what happens if I remove all this doc type HTML, head, vagera, vagera? Will there be any problem? HTML body should be there. Doc type, head, and all you can remove. Chalega, but at least that is supposed to be the remaining part is supposed to be there. Okay. Well, I'm trying to minimize this to a single line so that you can see the entire page. That is, you're able to see the entire page, right? This is all about JSP pages. Okay. Yeah, what is that you are going to do is you will be doing the same thing here. Sometimes you will be getting request dot get attribute or request dot get parameter. Sometimes you will get a session. All of this. Any doubts? भाई कोई कुछ डाउट है तो बोलो.
No, sir.
I'll be. I mean, no तो सही है. कुछ किसी को है तो please ask me. Any doubt is what I'm saying. नो तो सही है, ठीक है, बट कुछ किसी को कुछ डाउट है, कुछ पूछना, यू कैन आस्क मी बोल के. नहीं है तो वी विल मूव ऑन टू द नेक्स्ट सेक्शन वेयर वी विल प्लान आवर अमेजन ऐप. Okay, so nobody is asking. I'm moving on. Well, I will be closing all of these people. I'll close index, I'll close connection factory, I'll close this fella, and then close calculator.jsp. I'll keep this for you people so that you people can practice it. Okay, let's come back and plan our Amazon app. So in order to create this add categories or product, what all we require? So the first thing what we were looking at is the database. So the database should contain the tables, the table called category, the table called product, and the table called customer if you wanted to give login to the customer and all. If not, for the simple app, we can have only category and product only. So the category table will contain ID, cat name, and then product will contain ID, cat ID, which is a foreign key to category tables ID. Okay. So every product belongs to some category, right? And then I have product name and price, then quantity, how much quantity, and then description. Okay, so these are all I wanted to show for a product. About the product, price, and all of that stuff. So this is what I wanted to save in a product table. Okay, so this is my product table and this is my category table. Well, this ID is going to be a primary key and auto increment, and then cat name is going to be not null, which is going to be of type varchar of some 50 as a size, and then this is also an integer. Well, comes down here, this is basically integer and primary key auto increment. Cat ID is basically also an integer, and it refers to, it's a foreign key, references categories ID. Okay, and then you have p name, product name, or you can call also prd name, product name, uh, where care of some 150 characters or 100 characters. Price, I'll say float of 10 comma 2. 10 comma 2 means the total digits are 10, and then it can take two digits for a decimal, so that means 8 characters. It's almost 100 crore. अरे बाप रे, इतना बड़ा तो नहीं रहता हमारा प्रोडक्ट. तो चलो ठीक है, somewhere around 7 comma 2 ले लेते. So I am giving 5 digits to 99 lakhs 99,999 rupees. That's the highest price. Okay, 1 crore के पहले. So if you give 8 comma 2, वो तो like 100 crore तक जाएगा. So quantity, which is an integer, and by the way, this price cannot be null, so not null. Quantity, this is also not null. And how about description? Well, it's up to you. You wanted to make it null, you can make it null. And description is of type small text. Small text means it's, I mean, you can stick description also to certain number of characters if you want, but if you wanted to give a paragraph, two paragraphs kind of this, you can go for small text, or let's limit var care of some 500 characters. So I don't want it to give more than that. I can give up to 500 characters for the description. So these are all the tables I need to have. Well, apart from that, to have this, what all we can have? No, this you need to understand. You need to have index.jsp, which is our home page. Okay, home page where you will have the table that you have seen previously, right? That you will have. Well, and then to load all the categories, we need to have categories.jsp file, which will be loaded, or sorry, I could say included as left menu. And then you have, apart from, it's not CATEGORAS, and then you have products.jsp. Mm. Central page of index. Okay, so pura products based on the category will be loaded as a central page. Okay, so central page ka matlab, like, right side loaded as a right side of a page body, something like that I'm saying. So you have categories and then products that will be loaded as a part of our page. We include them simply, and then whenever you click on a product, new products.jsp will be loaded into that page. That's how we will develop it. Okay, that's one way. Or instead of doing that, what we can do is, instead of saying products.jsp, category based हो गया, फिर index हो गया, categories हो गया, and then you need to have product details page. Product details.jsp. This basically, when you click on a product, well, the details to be shown separately. Okay. And from product details, you click on purchase button, where you will be showing congratulations message, congratulations.jsp.
And one more page, sir, which is these pages are changes time to time, but about us page, we included lifetime.
वो तो आप कर सकते हो. सी साइट का कोई लिमिटेशन नहीं रहता. यू नो दैट, लाइक कोई 5 पेजेस क्रिएट, कोई 1500 पेजेस क्रिएट करता है. तो इट इज अप टू यू हाउ बिग यू वांटेड टू मेक दिस साइट, हाउ excellent you wanted to make this site, is up to you. ये तो I'm trying to make this as something like, to teach you how web app has to be developed. So I am considering only dynamic pages.
Okay, sir.
हाँ वैसा, क्योंकि मुझे यूसेज दिखा रहा है ना तुम लोगों को, डेवलपमेंट का यूसेज, तो इसलिए. तो यू कैन हैव एनी नंबर ऑफ पेजेस अलॉन्ग विद दैट, लेकिन फिलहाल तो इतना करते. कांग्रेचुलेशन पेज, दिस इज शोन आफ्टर कस्टमर क्लिक्स ऑन परचेस बटन ऑफ details page. Okay, well, these are all the pages. Okay. Now these are all the pages that I'm going to work with. And then right side you have two tables in the database. With simply two tables only, we can run the entire show. Apart from that, to add the categories and then to add the products, we need to have admin homepage. So home page for the admin, where he can get links to add product, add category options. And then you have add category.jsp. Then I have products.jsp. Well, this is basically to add requests based on above category. So this is basically you add different categories as a left menu, right? So he will declare the categories, he will add the products for them, and then they will get reflected in the website. Okay, left menu in the main site. This one based on above category to be displayed as a part of site. Well, these are the things that you need to do. How many are there? Tell me. Apart from that, आराम से देखो. आराम से देखो. Apart from that, what else we require? Do we require any control? Yeah. So here is add category or posting data, and then here you require category controller. Basically, in order to perform, okay, insert, update, delete operations on categories. Okay, and then you have a controller to perform insert, update, delete operations for products. Okay, these are the two things what we need to have as controllers. Apart from these two controllers, rest of everything is a small JSP page which directly deals with the DAO and then get. Okay, fine enough. तो इसके बाद और कौन चाहिए राम? देखो भैया, मेरे पास जितने भी टेबल्स है उनके सारे मेरे को एंटिटीज चाहिए सही है. तो मतलब मुझे कैटेगरी डॉट जावा चाहिए which will act as entity category table. Then items.java. Items नहीं, उसका नाम हम लोग प्रोडक्ट रख के, राइट? Product.java, and this is going to be an entity to store I have category.java and I have product.java entity to store different products based on the category. And then इनके साथ हमें क्या चाहिए भाई? Well, because I have two things and ये entity के साथ मुझे चाहिए, in that case, my mistake, गया कब से? I need category service, category DAO, and their respect to IMPLs. That's what I want. And similarly, below also, when I have the product, I need to have their respective details. Okay, so we need to have category, product service, category DAO, and the respect to IMPL. Similarly, product service, they respect to DMPLs, and yeah, we can also have requested response objects if you are interested. Well, you can also have respect to request comma response closures. We cannot forget them, right? Okay. And similarly also, if you want, to request comma response process. Well, that is what you are supposed to implement, put together. Anything else we are missing? See this and let me. So we have certain JSP pages, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 JSP pages, 6, 7 for 6, 7, 8 for 6, 7, 8 for the admin, and then 2 controllers and entities, request, DOs, DOMPLs. If you there is category, then category along with the category DO, DOMPL, category service, service MPL, and then that request response, category request and category response. So these many things that you need to develop. Am I clear? Okay. Then we will link them all. Once we create, we'll link them all, and then app will start working. Get it? Create करेंगे तो we'll go here, MySQL client root. मेरे पास Amazon होना चाहिए, ठीक है? EMS, HRMS, billing system, MySQL, Sakila, shopping cart है, Amazon नहीं है. So let's create. So create database Amazon. And see why we are creating Amazon as a database. That is what we have mentioned in our connection factory. Please remember, यहाँ पे जो mention करे थे ना, this is the same thing which you are supposed to create as a part of your database. So what did I do? I have created this. So I'm doing reverse engineering. So step number 1, I wanted to create this. Okay. Step number 2, I wanted to create this entities. And followed by DO, DOMPL, JSPs and all we will create tomorrow. So we'll go in reverse order. We'll create the services DAOs, and then we will create our controllers, and then we will create admin. Once everything is added or that been there in the system, then we will write code for showing index and everything. Okay. So this is how we will go. Now come back here. So I need to create table called, sorry sir, I need to connect, right? So connect Amazon root, and then create table category ID integer primary key auto increment comma category name cat name varchar of some 50 not null. Done. This is created. A table called category is created. I'm creating another table So I'll say create table product id integer primary key auto increment, and then look at this. I have cat id category id which is integer, and basically this is going to be not null. I'm not creating this as a foreign key now. You know that the rule of foreign key is create both of the tables and then link them. So you have to create the parent table first. It should have a primary key. Then you have to create the child table, and then it should also have a primary key. Then link the column of the child table to the parent table by altering it, adding a key. So cat id integer not null, and then I have product name where care of some 50 not null. Like I must have the product name. Price, this can be integer not null, and I mean I am supposed to take it as a float or number, but I've taken it as an integer. Like, and I just wanted to give. I'm not interested in decimal, so for our easy this one. So I have price, and then I have quantity integer not null. It cannot be null, and finally description where care of some 500 characters is what I'm going to accept it. Can this be null? Yes, it can be null. So I have cat ID primary, and then product name I have, price name I have, and then quantity I have, description I have. There you go. Close it. Now I'll say alter table product, add the foreign key. Okay, foreign key on which one? Cat ID. Okay. Which references category tables ID. You have an error. Alter table product, add foreign key. Ah, space is I have given. I'm sorry. Foreign space key. यहाँ पे space नहीं होना चाहिए. I've given a space. Still. Oh, spelling of references. REFE references. REFERENCES ID. Okay. So references spelling is the mistake. Now key is created. देखो, you should be careful. छोटा है. But by mistake I have pressed R second time, तो ये spelling mistake हो गया. Okay. So now the table is created. So show tables. I have two tables. One is category, another is product. Okay. So let's add two categories and two products on each. Let's say insert into category and cat name. I'm saying values sports. Similarly, I will say jewelry. Well, insert into product, cat ID, product name. What else I have? Product name, price I have. There देखो यार, cat ID, and then we have p name, price, quantity, description, values. So what is the cat ID? 1, which is sports, comma. What is the product name? Let's say tennis bat, and इसका price क्या है भैया? Like 4,000. Quantity कितने है? 20 है. So what is the description? Art Tango tennis bat. This is the description. Don't look at this. What is Art Tango? Art Tango is a brand. मेरे बेटे के पास था, तो I know that. Okay, and then I'm trying to add one more thing here. Cricket bat. कुछ तो brand है. Cricket bat का भी. So we will add cricket bat is of somewhere around 3,000 rupees, and I have some 30 quantity MRF मरफ का नहीं रहता, I'm just writing, okay ना. Then I'm trying to insert one more product into the category 2, which is jewelry, and here I'm trying to give the gold ring, or I could say wedding ring, and the cost is 30,000. I have 10 items. This is say 24 carat gold wedding ring for men. I will have one more thing here. And here I will say um, what else we can have? Bracelet. The cost is somewhere around 50,000, and I have some 50 bracelets in my shop. 24 karat gold bracelet for man. Okay, so select, start from category, and this is one, and select, start from product, this is one. So here instead of category ID, I wanted to say select C dot cat name, comma P dot product name, comma P dot quantity, P dot price, comma P dot description from category C, comma product P, where P dot cat ID is equals to C dot ID. Well, these are all the kind of elements I have. In the category of sports, I have tennis bat and cricket bat. In the category of jewelry, I have wedding ring and bracelet. Well, मेरे पास एक छोटा सा अमेजन ऐप के लिए जो डेटाबेस चाहिए थे वो मैंने क्रिएट किया. ओके, so I will be pass on these SQL commands to you people so that you people also can create control C, control V, control S, Amazon app DB. ओके, तो दिस इज अमेजन ऐप DB स्क्रिप्ट. चलो ठीक है, सो ये भी शेयर करूंगा मैं. नाउ यू पीपल हैव टू डू द सेम थिंग व्हाट एवर आई हैव डन. तो छोटा मोटा लाइक आपकी मर्जी है. यू वांटेड टू क्रिएट मोर कॉलम्स, यू कैन क्रिएट. दिस आर द बेयर मिनिमम कॉलम्स आई हैव क्रिएटेड सो दैट आई कैन वर्क विद देम. दैट वाज द इंटेंशन. ओके, तो ये रंग जो गया था ये भी ऐसे ही कॉपी मत करो. जो काम किया था उसी से काम करो. कंट्रोल एस. ओके, well, these are all the things. Is there anything, is there any error apart from that we have got? I think not. Okay, pretty fine. Now, so out of the tasks, this has been done, this has been done, this has been done. 2 ticks are there. What else is required? We need to create the elements and then to work on with. Am I clear? तो क्या तुम लोग यहाँ तक practice करोगे आज? Because you have a
Yes,
session
yes.
at 4 o'clock. You have a session
Yes,
at
sir.
4 o'clock again. तो 4 o'clock session के बाद you have to practice whatever Shweta has taken. आपके पास choice नहीं है. So I'm not taking much here. We'll stop. 12:10 it is already. I am okay to take till 2 o'clock like yesterday. लेकिन तुम लोग मर जाओगे. तो I don't want you to die. तो आराम से पहले JSP points note करो. Go to some tutorial point, learn more about JSP, note down more points. Come to our application, practice that calculator.jsp part. हो गया. फिर उसके बाद अपना अमेजन का जो भी पॉइंट्स है वो नोट करो एंड देन क्रिएट द टेबल्स. इफ पॉसिबल प्लीज डू मी अ फेवर, क्रिएट category.java and product.java also from your end. Okay, am I clear? ये तो मैं अभी क्रिएट कर देता हूँ आफ्टर द सेशन and I will post the project up to this level. Tomorrow when we start, we will start from this level. रिवर्स इंजीनियरिंग में यहाँ से ऊपर जाएंगे हम ऐसा, ठीक है?
ओके सर।
बढ़िया, super. So far, any doubts the way what we have practiced? You have understand the plan, right? Plan is clear to you people, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, super. So I will be posting all these images या API जो भी है हमारे पास. I'll post it. I'll post that app also. I'll post that recording video also into video recording section. And by the way, I have found that you people, many people are trying to access the recording from here. So here, after I stop the recording, recording will be coming here like this, right? If you try this, you will not get permission. तो ये प्रॉब्लम हो जाएगा आपके लिए. So what I'm doing is I am actually uploading, I mean, I actually download it first to the download section and I rename it like this. You can see 11, 10, 9. You can see this one 8, 7, 6. Okay. Oops, part 1, part 2, 05 exceptions. So whatever I have done, I have put them into something called as video recordings. So these are all the recordings which are in order: Java class basics, arrays and strings, oops, oops 2, exceptions, IO streams, collections 2, SQL DDL DML, and then SQL DRL and joins, web servlet JSP part 1, web servlet JSP part 2. Today's session, I will say JSP underscore Amazon part 1. And then tomorrow we will see JSP underscore Amazon part 2. Okay. So like this, I am uploading them. But I still see so many people are trying to access this one, and I'm getting many mails like this. So this guy is trying to access this one, give the permission. Nivas, Abhinav, all of you people, you daily I'm getting 3-4 mails like this, and I'm giving permission also. I'm not stopping. The moment when I see the mail, I'm giving a permission. So here I'm approving the record. Sorry, the request I'm approving. But ऐसा नहीं करो. अगर मैंने देखना भूल गया तो you will not be able to access that one. So if you have the link of these video recordings, that is there already. I have pasted in the top history somewhere else. If you don't have, take it from your friends. I have already pasted the link. Please try to access it from the video recording. आपको आ जाएगा. Okay ना? Just a small suggestion for you people. क्योंकि अगर मैं कोई दूसरा मीटिंग में चला गया और आपका मेल रिक्वेस्ट को देखना भूल गया समझो, यू विल बी स्टिल वेटिंग फॉर माय अप्रूवल. आई डोंट वांट यू टू वेट फॉर मी यार. लाइक टाइम वैल्यूबल है ना. कल से फिर से दूसरा सेशन लेता हूँ. अगर तुम लोगों को परमिशन नहीं मिला तो तुम लोग ये सेशन कब देखोगे, कब प्रैक्टिस करोगे? यू विल बी इन सूप. सो आई डोंट वांट यू टू स्ट्रगल दैट वन. तो आप लोग ना ये वाला ट्राई करो प्लीज. ये वीडियो रिकॉर्डिंग सेक्शन, दिस विल कंटेन ऑल द वीडियोस. And my files may, this is the section where it has all the recordings, and this is the section which will contain your files. जो भी whatever I am taking, I am posting here. You can see Chukada HRMS mailing system, and you also have web test and all the files, servlet API, servlet HTTP API. You're able to see this one. So I am posting everything into this batch files. Okay, so you can access the this one. For example, today desktop feb ये जो भी है, whatever I have created, I'll take like this and I'll put them into, that's it. This is what I'm doing. So this will be uploading it, and once it is uploaded, I'll go back to the video recording section and I'll wait here for this recording to be stopped. Like this meeting has started, not yet stopped, right? So this will be stopped, and then when the recording is ready, I will download it, I'll rename it, and I'll upload it. Okay na? So try to access it from video recording section. Okay, chalo then. That is what I wanted to convey to all of you people. And